What's up, people? Been working for a year as a closer in one huge company, generated close to $1 million in the cash collected. And today I am going to show you exact way on how I doubled my production by lowering amount of the time that I'm actually working, not doing the stuff that I don't want to do, and leveraging my VA to get more hot appointments on my calendar just to gather the money that I needed to gather for myself and for my family. So today you will see exact system, how I grade whom should I call or shouldn't, what was my problems that I faced, how I solved it, what templates I've been using, and at the end of the video you will find out which text message was most efficient, so you can grab it and just use it when you're prospecting with your clients. Without further ado, let's freaking dive in. So as already mentioned, been closing on pretty big offer. I was most of the time doing the outbound closing, meaning 90% of the freaking stuff that was on my calendar was because of me and the stuff that I did. I'm going to show you what was my problem of why I haven't performed like from the very beginning. During 12 months, close to $1 million in the cash collected, and my closing ratio a little bit below 37%. So when I started, pretty much what I did, and that's what most of the leaders most probably suggesting, is like going one-on-one, you know, calling the clients, you need to be on the phone, like, etc., etc. Seeing fucking dozens of SDRs like die in this stage, freaking mundane and boring.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
Right? So one thing that I have decided from day one, I'm not going to call no new leads. Why? Because that's bread and butter of a setter, SDR, not for a closer, right? So I decided to find smarter ways, dabbled a little bit with the no sale list, hard to close them because you need to bring them from no to maybe, and then from maybe to yes. In a company where there's like good salespeople, usually money is being no left on the table. But if you're on a weak offer with weak closers, you should consider calling those guys. I don't know, call 100 leads and see what you can pull out of there, right?
Pick up the phone and start dialing.
So I've pulled a couple of sales and then pretty much decided that it's not a useful way of like spending my energy. So then I shifted to renewals. Notice that it's easier to start a conversation with them, but you need to know on how to freaking build the gap, right? And how to justify what they have done already, of why they should either renew some sort of the mentoring part of the program, or why they should renew, right? Part of the people that had the training expiring, right, was pissed because they forgot that it's have a limited time, right? So you need to learn how to deal with that thing, right? Or like super minimum amount of the people was like, just, hey, I haven't completed, I just want to do it. So you can get a couple of laydowns. I had possibly like 2 or 3, which was like made me super happy. No objection handling to get them on the board, right? So pretty much a good section of people to target when you're going one-on-one calling them. Trouble for you if you're too sensitive of program, or your offer is shit, right? You're gonna the shit is gonna fly your way because finally somebody called them and they're gonna tell you how bad they felt, right? And they're gonna bring their frames in the doubts. So if you can reframe them and actually show that the training program is worth of that, and they're pretty much responsible of not using it in the right way, you can turn them into the sales as well. So webinar leads. So that offer was like doing the webinars on a monthly basis. Wasn't the guy who actually worked with those leads there on the webinar. More elite people did that, right? So but I was on a couple of webinars. Quickly noticed that there's not too much of sales happening with the webinar attendees because those people is being warmed up sometimes multiple days in a row. You just pretty much need to take the money from there. But one thing that most of the team was missing, that the people who even opted in or watched it, left it, and haven't booked the call, they were like super cute, like good leads, right? So I started like outreaching to them as well, and kind of generated some appointments for me. And then obviously low ticket buyers especially if the low and what I have understood, right, that work pretty well, especially with the low ticket product. As soon as you try to target those people on the front end, right, and you're looking to upsell them into the new stuff before they even try to do anything with the low ticket offer, you need to know how to handle their objection on how, well, I want to start with this first, right? Sometimes even after like freaking 5 reframes, I couldn't get them out of there. But with some people that already had that product on their hands, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, was more easier to talk with them about the usefulness of that product that they haven't used, most probably not going to use, or they've used that and it gave some impact, so they kind of already understand that that might work. So there's a lot of avenues, like month-old low-ticket buyers. That was something that I targeted. So by using these like one-on-one tactics, what I have noticed, right? So I can pull out some things here and there. And then at the time of like being in that company, there was like this guy named Sean who came in, and he started like in one of the meetings, he said, hey guys, like, do you know what I'm doing? I'll never talk with the people on the phone, right? I'm on text, and then I'm just talking with the people who actually respond. And it was like a light bulb moment for me. Light bulb! I was like, what the fuck I am doing actually here? And then that was a transition when I sat there and I thought, well, what the hell I'm like burning the phones, seeing people leaving the company because they can't get the freaking results, and I'm putting obviously 3 times the effort just to, hold there and be there. And then I just did like pretty simple maths. If my my commissions is like 10, if I will generate 10 grand in commissions, 1 hour of my time like costs 6, and if I'm working 160 hours, let's say like the default, right? So and it's not the freaking suggestion on how much hours you should work, because I know somebody is going to start screaming, oh, just 160, you should go like 300 hours a month, right? So with the default, 1 hour your time costs $62, 1 minute $1, right? So knowing that, I thought, well, possibly rather than just in between, I came up to this conclusion. Obviously, I started testing some one-to-many strategies, right, that I'm gonna tell you about. So, and then after seeing the impact that I can spend 1 hour of my time and generate multiple interested people rather than just call smaller amount of the people and kind of just talk with them, I understood that that's the right route to do. And if I can find somebody that could do the work for 1 hour, like with both parts of the brain, obviously, right, for $4 or $8, even for an hour, I pretty much can multiply like my production. Like I can turn 1 of my hour into 10 hours of somebody else.
Michael, I did nothing. I did absolutely nothing, and it was everything that I thought it could be.
Is doing. So what I did, I just ran some hiring ad, right? I interviewed a couple of people. As soon as I found somebody that was like half decent, right? I created NDA, pretty much signed an NDA that he's not going to disclose what we're doing, how we're doing, the works, the past, like everything, right? And then I pretty much gave him like a freaking full access to everything that I had an access to. Well, that was a wild move, right? Especially like when you do, I wouldn't do this with like with somebody abroad, right? So this guy was like a local one. I trusted him. We had the paperwork, everything done. I gave him an access, like, on my own risks, and I started freaking training him on what he should doing and how he should doing. So I pretty much started doing the strategy one-to-many. So meaning I was on a sales call, and while I was on the sales call, the guy was like freaking working and sending the texts, right? Text messages, emails, WhatsApp, not so much, right? Pretty much was a US market. So what we have found out quickly, and I did found this out before because I did this before myself, before I freaking transferred anything to him, is that you need to have a freaking good opener. You need to have a rigid follow-up system, so the people actually, so you follow up with them. It's not just one text message, right? And that's it, you forget about him. And you need to be freaking quick with your responses. I would say this is one of the biggest things that you should, if you're planning to start this, you need to be super quick when people respond, because they're in the pocket of talking to you if they respond. And if you can continue that conversation, most probably going to lead to some sort of the result. Doesn't matter matter if that's a disqualified appointment or an appointment, right? So, and that gives a cool motion when you're working. I remember those evenings where I'm taking calls, and in between of calls, instead of like being bored, I was just smashing my phone, like calling a couple of people that showed an interest, and that fueled his interest and mine as well. So, and for you to actually now do good, if you do this strategy, you need to be good with a couple of things: reframing the people from their frames. You need to still build the gap with them for them to do anything, and you need to know how to freaking overcome objections and close deals, right? One advantage that I took off as well, I'm not sure if people were lazy on the team, right? But a lot of people been using like some text strategies, but maybe just, I don't know, a couple of people were using an email. So I've created email templates as well for people that had non-US numbers, because CRM allowed just to send the text messages to people in the US, Canada, maybe some other countries as well. So, and those people that didn't have that numbers, pretty much they haven't received the shit from the company, right? Aside from like broad emails. And so I pulled a couple of deals from emails as well, right? So, and by doing these actions and the stuff here, one-to-many, using my VA, this is the results of where I pretty much what I have accomplished, right? So these 3 months right here, I was just doing traditional one-to-one, right? And you can see here within these numbers that it took like a hell of a time for me to make those dials. I wasn't sending too much of the texts, right? And yeah, kind of was boring, mundane, but interesting the same way, right? And here was the shift where I shifted to this strategy, and you can clearly see on like how amount of the messages that I've sent actually rose, amount of the talk time went down, and amount of the deals and the cash collected obviously went up.
In the upper left right here, I'm projecting that we need to win at least 99 games in order to make it to the postseason.
Right? So it's down to you to decide whether that's worth of doing or not. Of course, what I could do, right? Instead of like doing this mumbo jumbo, I could go to management and just use the integrations that the system had, what to send, whom to send, how to send, But sometimes it's like freaking slow, right? You need to get an approval here and there, when they're gonna send, how they're gonna send, right? And there's no context, right? So, and I did it smarter because I filtered people heavily in the CRM just by different parameters, where they at, their income, maybe their rejections. I've experimented with a ton of stuff actually to get here. So, and now I'm gonna unveil what helped my VA being good by sending these freaking messages, right? So I have created playbooks, right? And pretty much like a free not the free, but the training for him on what he should do and how he should outreach the people to get the potential results. Just pulled this out from the chat with him, of what he was getting from me, so he can have a clue on whom to send and how to send it, right? So here's email sequence playbook. There's a renewal strategy, the whole playbook of what to say, when to say with the decision trees. And there's a renewal strategy as well. The same, it's another renewal. Yeah, what was the third one? So that was like a third different one as well. So you can get this, all of these files, if you're going to join the group on the Telegram, absolutely free. Just join this here by using this link and pop the messaging templates. It's going to be here, and you can find them in the resource section. Just go and grab them, and see if you can use this within your offer, and might help you closing some deals. By the way, now I'm making even more advanced processes for my DM sellers, right? With the things and stuff that you should send with the looms, and then the qualification kicks in, even with the nurture sequences, right? That is going to help you, and through your VA might help you to qualify the people and warm them up if they're like on top of the funnel, right? So, but you can get like these 3 templates if you're going to join the group. Later, what I started doing with my closer, with my VA, I've delegated him to do my app confirmation, so I don't need to do all of that mumbo jumbo, especially when I'm on appointment, getting on a calendar, making sure that the person is going to actually show up, texting them day before, the next day in the morning, sending the final text, right? I guess this could be another video for another topic for another video, but just for you to explain, He texted day before, waited for confirmation, color coded that on my calendar. If next morning person haven't responded, marked it as free, you know, send the final message, then removed it, right? He was actually responsible of like sending the relevant video as well and making sure that the person actually watched this. And we kind of shifted at some place even to actually I've taught him how to nurture the person with the free stuff that the influencer was posting, you know, with the videos that we had in the back end. Similar actually to this one that I've created here, because like this whole nurture sequence is being based on a free like on a mini course that the influencer is selling. That's for a different offer. And you're pretty much like helping the person use the materials and get to some certain level and a point so they have a bigger trust and a belief in you, like Hormozy says, right?
Selling is a transference of belief over a bridge of trust
to buy your next stuff. And that's pretty much, this is the whole system that this is how I got there, you know, where I realized that just like freaking pounding the phone is not going to work. Thanks to Sean. So I started going one-to-many. Thanks to my assistant, his name, by the way, is Artis. He helped me a lot with this, built all of this system. Now sharing with you on how did I end up there. A couple of playbooks that you can use. You can join the Telegram, ask me questions, like this video, and subscribe because I'm posting weekly videos here. And now, le grande finale, which text message worked the best? And the message that worked the best was this: yo. And the places where we have used this message was usually after there was like a couple of messages sent to the people. Actually, we were, bonus tip if you're still watching, right? Actually, we were sending text messages with the mistakes in them, so they look more like person type. Some of the things that we didn't wrote like a big text, right? But people usually tend to not to respond if they haven't been on some webinar where they've been warmed up. They tend not to respond to these text messages. Usually responses came back from second, third, and sometimes even from the sixth or seventh message. But this one landed pretty good. When you send the yo after you've sent them already something, they're like, oh fuck, this is a real human. I might need to respond. That said, if you like this video, once again, smash that freaking like button. Tell me what do you feel about and what do you think about the system. Hopefully, it's not hopefully, you know, if you're just going to start using this, I can bet my money on it. You will increase your production and you're going to start making more money. So just take it, steal it, work it, improve it, share it so everybody can make more money. See you in the next video.